Good afternoon, traders. It's me, Jay Song, and I'm so glad to have you. I thank every one of you for tuning in. I'm really happy that many of you have been joining our chart room and commenting. I'm hearing so many good comments from you, um, and I'm just so humbled by your praise. Um, but all glory be to God. May He help guide us and continue to guide us during these times. But the great thing is that we know exactly what's happening. And as I've showed in my last video, we saw that coming a while ago. Okay, so we knew that this is the range, and we know that that was the start of the great crash. And if you're not familiar with my videos, go ahead and check out some of my other videos. I believe I have a video called "The Crash Has Begun." I believe I talk about this very spot. And if you're not familiar with me, I do technical analysis on charts, and I show people how to read charts, and I show people how to draw. And then I do not give financial advice. This is not financial advice, nor this should be taken seriously as any kind of financial advice. Keep in mind, I do eat red crayons for breakfast with some Fruit Loops, and they taste super good. But if you get a tummy ache, that is all on you. I am not responsible for your financial decisions nor your breakfast decisions. Consider this my disclaimer. Trading does involve a substantial risk. Okay, so this is my charts, and I'm going to be going over what's been happening since our last signal. Here, we did have a triple intersection at this point. I believe we did delete uh, delete the other intersection at this point, but we did mark it, and you'll see this in our pictures. So we'll be going over those, and I'll be adding some commentary to those. For right now, I want to show you again where our target is at. We placed our target here several days ago, a 54 30. I'm sorry, 54 87. In our earlier video, we actually had a target here at 55.85. And because we came really close before when we first hit that 55.85, we hit this at an intersecting point down here. This floor is getting weak. Okay, so if we were to come back up and hit it again, I would expect we were to break through to the next support. And what I did was I took the actual support from the 4 hours. So if you were to zoom out and see where we closed at that core point, and this is a very important point because this encompasses a major rally. I mean, a major downfall. Okay, all of that was stopped by this point. We actually went through that point a little bit, and we came back up, and the exact line was here. Okay, the bottom of that red is where I drew this line. And because we went off from there, you know, and beginning a new run, this leads me to our first test of this line, which we're going to actually find strength. Okay. Now, we knew from our previous video that I told everyone that we were experiencing shakeouts. And so if you have been following me on my Telegram, I have been posting my trades, and if you're not following, go ahead and join us. The link is you can type in that link. The link is also in the description of this video. Go ahead and meet me on that link. You can feel free to ask questions. Many of our members are very knowledgeable with many of my opinions. In case I get asked a lot of similar questions. And that's absolutely fine. I don't mind taking the time to message you, but there's a lot of great people in my chart room, and they're very very willing to direct you and point you to what's actually happening for the day. In case I step out and come back later in the day, I do post my charts Monday through Saturday. I don't really answer questions on Sunday, just take a day away from the charts, clear my mind. And that's always good because you can always come back to your charts and see a fresh picture and see something you've never seen before. Because drawing, with the sword method, it relies on drawing, and everything that I use, as far as my technical analysis, is based on drawing, and there is a type of art to element to it. But don't be scared. It's actually a lot simpler than you think if you're wanting to learn or if you're taking notes. So I do want to go over the last few bars. So we did experience this huge shakeout in this area, and we had shakeout data, so that told me more shakeouts were coming when we saw the volume spiking up and down according to our VSA. So let's go ahead and turn on our volume so you can see also what's happening. And I'm going to read the data for you. Oops. Okay, so now I'm going to turn on a zoomed in version of this area here. Okay, so I want everybody to know what I'm actually doing. I'm zooming in this area and I'm looking really close to what happened. So it's each one of these bars is a 4-hour chart. Okay, we can see this because down here in this area you can see it says XRP USD 4 hours, and that means how much XRP there is in US dollars. If you've never seen a chart before, that's what that means. And each one of these candles represents 4 hours of time. We can see, like as an example, at the beginning of this hour, price started up here on the red, came down all the way to this, the bottom of this, which we call a wick, and then came right back up and sat down. Okay. It actually went up as far as this during that same 4-hour time, but at the end of it all, it closed lower, so it paints the candle red. The next hour candle started about right there, went up as high as here, and came down right at that level. And and because it closed higher, it was painted green. At the bottom, I use white and red so I can just easily see the difference, and they're my favorite colors. So this red volume up here means it was a down bar, and then the white means it was linked to a green. So if you see red and white, that just the white goes with the greens and the red goes with the reds. Okay. Now, if I were to take that area and I were to zoom in and see what was actually happening during that time, this is what I saw. Okay. I took this line and I drew a trend line from the end of this to the beginning of here. And I saw that price was coming down through the line, came up, tried to peak up and hit these lines, and came down. So when we came back to that area again, we already were experiencing resistance. Okay, so I was expecting price to go down at these areas. And I won't go over the full volume spread analysis right now, but suffice to say, we were expecting some weaknesses in these areas. If I were to connect these two bottoms here, oops, chart, from here to here, and when price went through, we came up to this peak. So in two areas, we see the resistance. Okay, so I see it from here to here on a core, and then I also connected this bottom and this bottom, and I see the wick coming up here. So that's a sign of that's a very much good sign of weakness on a chart. And we saw it at an area where there was a shakeout in the background. And remember, with the shakeout, it's very, very likely that if price was already coming down, okay, if price was already in a downtrend, and you start seeing the shakeout, that means price will continue in its downtrend. Okay, that's the general rule for that, how shakeouts work, okay? And you need to remember that. It's not always the case, but there's a high likelihood and a high probability. After that, we were still already we still already had a signal from our last analysis and our last video, which or in the chart room, if you were following me, that I told everybody, hey, here's our signal, and price went up to that corner exactly, and then we were on our way down, and we've been waiting. And then this morning we experienced the fall to this area. So I moved this trend line that we originally had, our original target, I moved it down here. And the reason I moved it down there is because what I showed you about that 4 hours. Okay, so you have to look into the past to see more truths being revealed. However, this is on a 4-hour chart. Okay, so I don't really zoom in too much to see what's going on. This is the more simplified view, but I do pay attention to what's actually happening. And now I'm going to tell you some secrets. Okay, so I want to let you know, first of all, we are going to this area, 54,876. Okay, so if it was me and I was trading, I would actually be looking for price to come down into this area as a buy zone, but only until a certain point of time. After that, I actually expect price to go down towards 52,035, and the next one, which is around that time, let's clone this, 52,708. Okay, that's what I'm expecting price to actually go to. Okay, and the reasons for those we'll get into later. But for right now, I want you to know, or in another video, I'm not sure if I cover that later, but right now I want to go over why we're going to 54 in here. And I want to show you, well, I already kind of showed you that, so I do apologize. This is going to be the main reason, that support alone. Now, price could spike through, even sit down on one of these lines, and then come back up. Today, it's been trapped between the original target, okay, which was this line, the 55. Price came down, set up back on the line, came through, and now we're on the underside of this line. Now, where did I get that line before? Okay, so here we go. Where did I get that line from? Here. I'll delete these and I'll show it to you in real time. So this line right here is connecting this dot here at the very top and core to core, which we always draw them core to core. This does look a little funny because this red part is actually, the red candle is actually higher than the actual price. And even though it is higher, I'm still not drawing it. You could draw it. I just don't like to draw it because it's part of a gap in price. And when you see that, it means price gapped up between the time that this candle ended and this candle began, price gapped up. And that's usually a sign of other manipulation at play, but not enough to really affect price. Okay, so if I was drawing this candle here, and I'll make it a bright yellow so everyone can see, what you do is you take the peaks of this run and you duplicate it on the bottom. And you can duplicate it, and I know I always say don't draw core to core, but you can when duplicating these lines. And this is what I call a phantom trend line. And I'm going to draw it at the bottom of the red, okay, which is about right there. You could draw it here, but that's about an average. So when you see that, we now know that this would be the buy zone. I mean, down here at the bottom level, usually price will bounce off. And however, the reason I wasn't expecting price to bounce off is because of the gravity and magnitude of the lines. This line is actually very weak. in comparison to the strength of this big blue line down here. This one is the powerhouse. The buy orders for the institutional buyers are at this level. Okay, there's a lot of buyers because everybody and their nana knows what happened at that point in the past. So they're not waiting for price to actually stop just short of it. That's not how it works. There actually is a huge range. Price could actually fall way down here to some of these wicks, okay, down to these type of areas right here, okay, or right here. And it's very possible that price can do that. But what's more likely is that price will almost always at least hit the core. And so that's why I place my targets at the cores, because they're the strongest ones. And that people do know they exist, or the powers that be. And so that's where I have my buy order for XRP before we continue going down at that level. Okay. So if we go and take this phantom line, you can see if I zoomed in on a 2-hour chart that price was really trying to come back up, break that line, and then it even stayed above this one if you look at it really closely. Okay, if I turn that, just say I would turn that white, you can see price sitting right on top of that line. See that? It's like trying to break through, trying to break up, and basically what's happening is we're trapped. Price tried to come up above the line and then immediately came back down below the line. So this line is getting weaker and weaker the more price touches it. Okay, so that is the actual truth of the matter with that line. And the more accurate you are at drawing your price points, the more successful you are going to be. Okay, in recognizing what price is actually doing. Okay, so what I told everyone in the chat room this morning is basically the price is just going up and down in between. They're trapped, and at the end, when those lines break, we should continue into the buy zone, which is here. So if you have an auto entry, that's where my auto entry is at, in this area. Okay, where are we going? Here's where I think is going to happen, but it depends on speed, and I will explain what I mean. This is what I think is going to happen. We're going to come into this buy zone, and then we're going to come up here to this area right there. And then I believe we're going to come back down, shatter through this level, come up to the top, and then we're going to come down towards the real zone of this range here. 52, 52, 70, 52, 35, which I believe price will get stuck. It will actually spike, touch 52, come back on, sit up on 57, 52, 70. Okay, so what do I think then? Play by play. So I already explained to you why I think price is going to bounce on this line. Okay, and I'm not using any other indicators except for price for this one. Okay, but there's there's a major support on the daily, which I already explained from a previous video, using this point and this point, the tops of this, top here, and core to core, not these wicks up here, cores, they're the strongest points. You draw that line, and it gives you that purple line. We went over why price bounced on here, because it was a huge intersection, but price came up to the next resistance level, this red line, and it broke back down. And now we're headed towards here. So these lines are getting weaker, and price wants to crash through them. Where do I believe XRP is really going after those points? here, 25 cents, 0.3514. In these two ranges between here and here, this is what I call the buy zone, the real buy zone for XRP. After that, I'm not going to be making any more um, really, I'm not going to be making any more trades for XRP in that area. That's good enough. Anything in this zone is great. Really, to be honest, anything under $1 is fantastic for holding XRP. If you're not a trader, um, it's better for you just to hold XRP. I'm not advising anyone to trade. I don't give any financial advice. The reason I do what I do is because I'm a trader and I understand price action. And as long as God gives us another day in trading and we're able to, I think we're going to get to 20 to 25. So you can watch my other videos on why I gave those projections. But I kind of recap a little bit of things for people who are just joining me, don't understand my signals. But even if you didn't understand, just look at my arrows, okay? Where I make an arrow on XRP, that's where I'm buying. And when there's a down arrow, I'm selling. Um, when you sell, you're just accumulating. You're selling target to target. So if I sold up here, which I did, I didn't lose anything when it came down here. But if you had, just say, if you had $10 and and you sold it for $10 and price goes to $1, now you're able to, instead of selling one for $10, now you're able to buy 10 for the same price once you get back in. That's kind of how shorting works. In a brief example, you're able to buy something back without paying um, a much higher price. You're able to buy double, triple, increase your position, and not sit in a losing position. Which this is why I really make these videos, because I'm really tired of watching people get wrecked, absolutely wrecked in the crypto sphere, following people who do not know how to read a chart, have no idea what they're doing, have never studied any kind of technical analysis in the world, don't know how to read. And that's okay. Now, if you followed somebody who told you to buy Bitcoin because it's activation and everything, that's fine, because it's really good. There are other things you should stay away from, like Bitcoin, because we're not only are we crashing, but it's never going to recover. It's never going to recover. Okay, so if you follow my other post, I post daily charts of Bitcoin, and I follow Bitcoin because what happens in the Bitcoin market happens in every market of the crypto world until the decoupling of XRP. After XRP is decoupled, then it will do its own thing. But for right now, it's actually still falling just alongside of Bitcoin, and will continue until we get to the buy area, and then we wait. Okay, so um, we are fast approaching. Now, 1 hour chart. I'm going to show you why I think price may be really susceptible to going up. And this is going to be a big secret, okay? I'm going to show you guys the sword method. Check it out. Here, 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 the wicks. We're going to connect those dots with the trend line. Here, here. Make them all touch. Where price cuts, that point where price cuts, that is the sword cut. That is the most important point. And when I draw it, I delete that so nobody knows my secrets. There was something I wanted to add on why this line is so powerful. Because not only is it a sword cut at a very important point, but if you were to draw the end of this run and draw it up, and you took the core of this line, that core lines up perfectly. So not only did we experience a sword cut because of here, but we also experienced major support because of this. That tells us this line, this hidden line, unless you knew what the secrets, is very, very, very powerful. Okay, so that's our bonus for today, and you can go ahead and draw it on yourself. We'll put a little flag on here so that you can see that where it's at. We'll make a call, and for this purposes, so that you can always see I'm making a different call, we'll make that one magenta, and the text will turn white. Okay. I'm not able to put it right in that corner, okay, because the software, but I'll put it pretty darn close. Okay. And I draw this in orange. When you see my orange line, you know there's a sword cut, and powerful things can happen at a sword cut. Either way, if price comes below or price comes above, when you see me draw a sword cut, powerful things happen. See that? This was a shortcut like on a very low chart. But when we came up, we knew the set, so this signal is actually reversed, and there's a buy at that order. We would just need to read volume set spread analysis. But these are very powerful points, and I don't like showing people those because I draw them where I see them. Okay. Now, what else? This trend line here, this white one, where these 2 points are intersect, is this point right there. And for everyone who follows me on my chat, you go to Telegram, and at the top of the page it says pinned. Okay, it shows pinned, and you just click pin, and you're going to see all my posts throughout the day. And I'm currently setting up a Patreon where I'll be able to put my charts on that content. So I was talking to people in the chart room, and I asked if people would consider supporting me so I can dedicate a lot more time to you in the chart room, to take all your requests. It does take a big portion of my life, to keep sharing a lot of the charts that we're getting asked for, and I would love to be able to just do that. I want to, if I've been a blessing to you, consider being a blessing to me, and I would be very so much appreciated, humbled by your gift of any dollar amount. Um, and so I'm currently in the works of trying to get a Patreon up and working. It's currently waiting approval. I might consider another platform, but it looks like it's perfect for posting my charts. And then it does give me the option to give exclusive content, and I would love to be able to give you exclusive content directly, so you can go right to my Patreon page and you'll see my post for our members who are joining me there. And you may it's different than just going through the pins. I'll always be in my the chart room posting stuff, but I would love to give members exclusive accesses or all my targets there, especially as we get bigger. And as you can see, as many people already comment, people who've been with me for a long time so far, they're very trusting of my signals, very trusting of my targets. I don't post all of my targets on YouTube. I do post my arrows, so you'll see it. But if I say, hey, get out here or get out there, you may not see it. But in our chart room, you can. Okay, and then if you wanted to take a look at my previous calls, go ahead and click on the media links at the top, and you'll just look for all the pictures of my charts, and you'll see them. You'll see when I called Bitcoin at 56,000 from the other chart room. When I began, I just imported all of my stuff from the other chart room we were in, and now I'm posting there. So anyway, that's just a little bit of stuff about what's going on today. So this intersecting point up here, it's very likely price is either going to do one of two things. We're either going to go straight up to that point if we come into this area without having gone down yet. then we're gonna shoot up, and then we can come right back down. I think it's very unlikely because we're already underneath and price is struggling to come up. Right now, we are looking like it's going higher, but there's 31 minutes left in the time of this 1 hour chart. And price hasn't broken up there all day long. So it's a lot more easy for price to come down to this area, and then it can either come to this intersect or it can come to this intersect, which I think it's more likely to come to that intersect because there's more time. Price won't have to spike up so quick, because if price hits this area, then I think we're actually going to come right back down. We may play on this line and then crash through it because we're massively weakening this line, but there's still a lot of strength in this line. So my money is actually on this set of time. But you don't have to be accurate, because once price hits in the buy zone, you just leave it buy. If we hit up there, or if we hit another few hours on July 20th, 21st, this is the time, July 21st, or this intersect, which is July 20th, about midnight. So if we hit it around midnight, plus or minus 12 hours, or if you're hitting it on July 24th, plus or minus, actually, since it's on the hourly chart, it shouldn't be that much, maybe plus or minus 6 hours. But those are the time frames I would be expecting price to hit it. So you'll see me posting like we'll actually do this just right now. We'll put this as unconfirmed for right now, and I'll leave it on for everyone to see this arrow as unconfirmed. Okay, but that's the point we're looking to go. That would not be the moon. Okay, this is not the moon. This is just price finding balance. Okay, price needs to find balance. It needs to go here, and then if it were to go up, it needs to come right here and then go up. It needs to sit back on this line. That's what has to happen, because there would be another pain point at that point. But as it is, I don't see that happening. There's just too much. We're so close to these areas that it's very, very unlikely that price is just going to get so close and not want to kiss those lines. It really is attracted to those lines like a magnet, whatever the strongest lines are, because that's where the most order entries are. And again, just look with your eyes. If you could think we're just going to go up, it's not telling that story. We're actually sitting under this line. Okay, we are under this line. Okay, that area. And I want you to be very aware of this. Okay, how can we experience higher prices when we're below the floor? There's two floors here. Okay, and I want to show you this in case you haven't noticed this, or if this is your first time seeing this type of analysis, where somebody's putting a price map on. Okay, these are two floors there here. This floor, which we have as a phantom, we know it exists. And guys, I've been trading for a long time. I see these lines all the time. Okay, so I know a phantom when I see it. That's a phantom. The other one is here. Okay, so price was coming along, and it's bouncing along. Here, hit the bottom, came back up. Hit the bottom. Hit halfway, which there's actually a hidden trend line halfway. A lot of people don't know that. So we'll get into that another day in a tutorial. Went back up, hit the top again. So, we got in sell, 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 buy. Normally the buy would be here, but what happened? We went below, and now it's trying to get back into the buy zone, and this is done. Okay, this is done. And if you think we're just going to skip over this and jump right to there, as I say, you need to wake up and smell the crayons. Okay, look, guys. I'm showing you. Look, let's take a picture of that maybe we'll use it for the thumbnail. I'm showing you guys how price action works. Okay, a lot of things has to happen for that to actually be the case. You really have to have price break through and then find a rest here, and then it needs to come up, and it has to crack all of this, because all of these people who lost money. They're crying. They just want to make their money back, and they're going to make their money back at the sword cut. So when you get near here, and so all of these traders at these sword cuts, they need to get their money back. They need to recover their loss. This is why the sword method is so powerful, because when you draw, you're starting to able to see those lines. Now, knowing those lines is not enough. You have to use them in conjunction with the map, which is why I provide price maps. And I'm doing that for XRP. I'm doing that for Bitcoin. Again, you can join me. And if you won't be on Telegram, I think maybe Patreon would be a very good place. You can still see my post, because it will send out, I think, notifications. It's kind of like a website, from what I've seen. I'm still learning how it works again, where I'm able to just put posts of my screenshots, which normally I'll be putting them in my chart room throughout the day, for our chart room members. But you'll be able to get notifications when these come out, and then just quickly see my post. I guess it's something like a Twitter, a private Twitter or a private Facebook that you pay for. And I'm not definitely not wanting to pay have you pay for financial advice. That's not what's happening. You're actually just paying to see what's on my screen. That is it. Okay, I offer no advice whatsoever, and I always got to lay those disclaimers. Okay, but I want you to correctly see what really has to happen and what's really happening with price. Okay, we're so close that it's easier just to fall to here. Now, once we get to here, then we'll get some strength. But right now, it's just shaking out, people. Again, we're just chop. This is all just chop, slowly coming down, chop into these lines, as I explained in our chart room earlier this morning. So once we get to here to the buy zone, we may come up to this one, but that's July 20th. That's tomorrow that's tonight about midnight, or tomorrow approximately at 7 a.m. Okay, and I believe this is Eastern Standard Time. I'm not sure how the charts time. I just know what time it is right now. What is this? 15 o'clock, 3 o'clock, military time. Okay, so that's what I wanted to share with you today. Where we're going, I do expect a good bounce. I might take some good profit and get out at these points, and depending on if we get a confirmation, I will exit again and collect all of that yummy XRP as we go up. Okay, so we buy up here, and I'll have collected all of my XRP that I made down here. Go up, collect some money, exit here, and then when we come back down to 52, I'll be able to collect even more XRP. That is how I do my trading. And I again welcome everyone to join me. Follow me on Telegram. It's always a great time spending time with you all. Thank you for listening, for watching my charts. I do plan to put a more of a full course. Somehow I was talking to an individual who was kind of pointing me in the right direction about how to put up a full course for the for the sword method. These videos are not so much a tutorial, but I do put a little bit of tutorial content in them so you can see how I trade the sword method, how I place and draw my chart maps. And I hope you always learn something too. At least at the very least, I hope you have confidence and you peace when watching my trades, so you can kind of see where my eyes are looking, and how I interpret price, and what I see when it comes to the charts, and where I see us going during those times. I'm not always right, okay? I'm not always right, but I have a very high success rate. And I want you to know that I'm looking out for all of you. I don't want you to be destroyed in the markets. I want you guys to experience success. I want you to see the bigger picture. That's why I always start with a 4-hour chart. I want you guys to see what's really happening, and why we put these points and draw them. And it really is simple when you can just see the map, or if you could see the colors. And thank you. Have a great day. Don't forget that Lord loves you. The Lord died for you, and he rose from the grave for your sins and for my sins, to offer us riches far beyond anything XRP or any other crypto could give you. He offers eternal life and life in heaven, and he offers you peace and joy, happiness through the Holy Spirit. peace beyond understanding, especially during the most turbulent times of our world when we're going through all of these things and we can't make sense of a lot of it. Remember, He's the rock that never moves. I had a time in my life when I couldn't make sense of anything that was happening, but the Lord showed me a vision, and I was it was in the middle of some kind of sea. I was just the waves are crashing everywhere, and I was cast upon a rock, and it was like a gray like a black grayish rock that was just it was just right there in the middle of the sea. And I remember seeing this rock, and I swam over to this rock, and I put my arms all over the rock. My body wasn't even out of the sea, but my torso up was on the rock, and I just put myself on the sea. I remember there was a light of like a moon, like moonlight. It was light enough to see outside, but it was still dark. You know what I mean? Like, on a bright moonlight. And I just saw this rock, and I just cast myself on the rock, and I remember crying for a long time as I was on this rock, and I felt so much peace in my life when that happened to me. And I won't tell the events of what actually was going on in my life at that time, but that was when maybe the first real time I felt the most powerful peace that the Lord Jesus could ever give through the Holy Spirit that He promised to give us, which is God with us and God in us. And the Lord inside of you, He'll change your life. He'll really change your life. He'll give you the peace that you need. He'll give you the mind of Christ. God is with us, and He's here for you. And I remember just crying my eyes out, and I was at work, and I was very early to work, and actually um, it was just almost an hour early to work, and I just had nowhere else I needed to be, and I just went to work, and I just cried and I cried. And I think for that whole hour, I was on that rock, and I didn't open my eyes a single moment when I was on that rock. And I never had a vision that I remember so strongly as that rock. And the Lord shows that He is the rock. He is the rock of salvation. And when everything is just moving around you, He's the one that um, is the peace that never lets you go. And put your faith and trust in Him, friends. That's my if I can make any kind of call that you can hold me to, hold Him to that, and hold me to that. That He'll be that rock for you, and He offers that. So praise God for you. Thank you always for your comments in our chat room. Thank you for visiting me. I love spending time with you all. I love hearing all of your chat to each other, asking each other questions, making new friends. And it's great. It's great. So God bless you. I'll see you next time. Be watching for upcoming unfolding of the market as I cover the Bitcoin crash. Continue covering the Bitcoin crash, and continue covering the XRP crash as we get to as I try to guide us gently to our final destination.